Well, howdy, all you collector car fans out there. This is Jason, the owner and founder of Southern Bush Motorsports. Well, I got a lot of comments and stuff. People always saying that it's all about the Mopars and that. Well, it is definitely not all about the Mopars and that with me. Look at what we got here, a 55 Chevy Bel Air. Now, that is a nice car. That is a super sweet car. The old fella that restored this car had been doing restorations for 30 years, but there was a catch to this car. His daughter, he bought his daughter a brand new Firebird. I think it was a graduation present. Now, this guy called me. Again, this was part of the run, the North Carolina run where I was stuck up there for 4 months because all these old coots that had the cow farms and corn farms and all that stuff, one guy would call, another guy would come over and go, man, I got more cars than this guy, and I couldn't leave. As a business person, I just couldn't leave. So he had given his daughter this brand new Firebird high performance car, and of course she wrecked it. So he's sitting there, and to him, this is how it all started. So he's sitting there with an old 55 Bel Air. He's sitting out there, and I remember sitting out there with these guys in the hot sun, smoking a cigarette, having some moonshine. And he told me, he said, I looked at that old piece of junk 55 Bel Air over there, and I looked at that brand new Firebird, where really the thing was less than a year old. And I said, I'm going to make that part of that. And that's actually what this old fella did. But boy, could this guy restore a car. Now, these pictures are old, People in some of the videos are like, why do you always take pictures? Where are your videos and stuff? Yes, I see people on YouTube that have these fancy videos and all this other stuff. But you got to remember, I was the only one out there doing this at this time. I was the only one out there that had dedicated my life to traveling around North America, not finding cars on the side of the road. I'm talking going to world history libraries, looking through microfiches, and, traveling around through the bush and living in my van. The reason that I only use pictures is because when the technology was out there when I was doing this, if I took 2 videos, that would kill my saved data, that would kill my storage data on my phone, with just 2 3 or 4 minute videos. And then I was done for the day. I had to upload, go back to my van, upload and that. But I could take hundreds of pictures in place of those 2 videos. This is why you always see pictures and not videos, because the technology wasn't there yet. I mean, digital cameras had just come out. And I bought the best technology that they had at the time, but unfortunately, if you took a video, you couldn't take very many pictures. It would just kill your storage. So that's why I take all these pictures instead of video. This 55 was insane. First of all, I love 55 Bel Airs. This fella took this car to a completely different level. I mean, he used old lacquer paint. The paint on this car was like a half an inch thick, and it was smooth. The bodywork was perfect. And then he merged this wrecked, basically the Firebird drivetrain. It was like some hypo Firebird or something. I mean, why would you buy your daughter a hypo car like that? She's going to wreck it, and of course she did. It was a posi-track car, and I guess she got in a corner and spun out. And she ended up being fine, thank God for that. But she rolled the car and completely totaled it. So this guy decided to transform that old Firebird into this 55 Bel Air. And boy, did he do that. Look at the underside of that car. He missed nothing. He didn't miss a spot. There was a few spots underneath the car. Probably could have used some more paint if you were going to do show quality. But this was show quality, and it was very well done. He took me for a drive for this. We went and grabbed a burger in town. And, oh, my God. When you buy collector cars and you drive a collector car and you own a collector car, one of the fun things about having a collector car is you pull into a gas station, it's going to take you an hour to get out of that gas station. Guaranteed, every time. Half an hour at least. If you pull up to a car show, you're there for the day. And if you want to grab a burger at McDonald's or something like that and you pull a car like this up, that was really my first experience of what it was like driving a cool car like this, because all we did was go to pick up some gas, and we were going to take it for a drive because you wanted me to sell the car for him. It must have taken us 45 minutes to get out of the gas station. There must have been 20 people around that car taking pictures. Now, a lot of the people had phones, but you're talking, this is the flip phone era when I did this car, and people could only take a few pictures before they ran out of stores, but it was so cool to experience that. Now, this paint, you can kind of see it right there. It was like a glitter paint. He was old school, and he would mix crushed oyster, I think it was crushed oyster shells in with the paint, and he did it himself. And it was just mind-boggling what this guy did. Now, this is actually going to be one part of a two-part series, because this guy had a 57 Chevy Bel Air that just, I didn't even know what to say. Both the cars were just mind-blowing, but the 57 was really cool too. There you can see that Firebird engine right there. Now, there's going to be a lot of people out there that are better at this than me. I don't know what type of engine that is. I just know that it fit pretty good in there, and he, made all the wiring and all that stuff work. And even though he took this engine out of a hypo Firebird, this car moved. I mean, when he laid into it, back end of this car came out from that 55 like it was nothing. I think we were in second gear, third gear, doing about 30 miles an hour, and he laid into it, and the ass end of that car just came loose like it was nothing. This was a fun car. You can see how he took the Firebird seats and even the Firebird console, the Firebird steering wheel, everything. He literally used as much as he could off that wrecked Firebird as he possibly could. Even that instrument clutch, I don't know how he did that, if he used something else other than the Firebird, but it was so cool to sit in that car. But it was like, you're sitting down into a 55 Bel Air, but when you get inside the car, it's like you're sitting in a brand new car. It was really crazy. And the vision that this guy had is, make what you got useful and put it into another car. And this car definitely showed his workmanship and what he was capable of doing. And it was really cool. Look at the back seat, man. That is so freaking cool. I actually sat back there just to see what it was like, and it was just like, man, it's like you're sitting in the back of an old school rocket ship. It was so cool. Even the headliner. Look at those headliner bows. He even painted those with the same paint that he used to paint the car. When you go into that kind of detail, that's just old school. That's these guys that pay attention to everything. Everything on the car was new. Like I said, that Firebird was basically, I believe the car was less than 7 weeks old, if I remember right. Look at that custom trunk. I mean, the attention to detail. He even put the Chevy symbols there. That was an operational pull-down thing where the tire and all that stuff was in there. Yeah, see, look at that. Now, I don't think the tire was in there, but all the parts and stuff was in there. And underneath that pad, that's where the tire was. Had a fully functional spare tire in there. And it was just so cool. The chrome work on this, he had every piece of chrome that came off the car, he sent it to a buddy and had it re-chromed. It was just mind-blowing, the attention to detail that was done on this car. You just don't see them like this. And that's why I chose to do this. One, so people understand this isn't all about Mopars and six-pack and Hemi and all that to me. This is about the collector car. This is about, everything out there. It could be a Javelin, it could be a Fairlane, it could be anything. I don't care. It was all about the love of these cars. Like, how do you even make the linkage and all that stuff work for the shifter? Look at all those gauges and stuff. All of that stuff worked. The AC blew. The heat worked. The radio worked through all the speakers. It blew ice cold AC. And he was adamant about showing me this stuff too. So I would know that all this stuff actually worked. So you're talking about the fact that he had to do the 55, restore the 55, make the 55 look good, and convert modern style Firebird and implement it into this 55. You just got to have a different mindset. And unfortunately, the old coots like this that can do this kind of work, this kind of customization, they're retired and they're not doing it anymore. And there's not many of them left out there. And it's starting to get scary because the next generation that might start collecting these cars, there's not a lot of options out there for people to get cars restored because these guys are all retiring. The best that we can hope for is that our future generations start learning how to do this stuff. Like, you hand a kid a 9/16 wrench, is he even going to know what to do with it? It's kind of scary, but those flames right there, I forgot about these flames. He put these hidden flames in it. You can barely see it unless you're up on it at a certain angle, but when the sunlight hit those flames, oh boy, could you see that stuff. That was just insane how those flames just lit right up. But when you were standing beside the car, you couldn't see them. You could only see them at a certain distance. Well, I hope you enjoyed this Tales from the Bush. Like I said, I'm going to make this a second part because this guy also had a 57 Chevy that I want to show. And, thanks for coming by and checking another Tales from the Bush. And don't forget to keep collecting those cars because it's not over yet, everybody. It's not over yet. I'm telling you. There's going to be more stories coming at you. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you very much.